Hey everyone, this is Curious here, and I'd like to talk about abortions and some of my feelings about the subjects around abortion. Because honestly, it's really hard to make a firm opinion about it. Because at one hand, I could say, "Oh, I'm almost becoming anti-abortion," because I'm never really pro-life, but some of the subjects around it, like some things I support, like universal health care, for example, would mean that there would be enough prenatal care instead of every 3 months, but like every month per se, that there would be no need for an abortion unless there was the risk of medical health for the woman or rape, in which case I would say that being an abortion would be okay. Now, I don't know why there shouldn't be a case of rape should be aborted, but I have a distinct feeling, at least, and even if it's just a feeling, that you don't want to spread the genes of someone who rapes. Now, don't ask me why this is important, except for a sentimental feeling, but I would say that it's not a good thing. Now, genetically, I don't know, maybe it is, but socially, it sure isn't. So, uh, well, I haven't really thought that completely through, so let's open the floodgates on that one. And, but just socially, I don't think a rapist should be rewarded for passing along his genetic lineage. And that's basically the bottom line of it as far as that goes. Now, wouldn't it be funny if there was something that defied our sense of morality in genetics that said that, rape was a mutually cross inheritable thing? Although I don't think so. Who knows what uh, real science is about that? We might find to our ugly dismay that uh, genetic crossbreeding is important, in which case, every once in a while, a woman should just go to a sperm bank and have a random child. Of course, would that even be random and stuff? And here I am getting way off on a tangent and stuff again. Well, because, people who donate sperm would be the kind of people who might have a certain disposition and therefore wouldn't be like the type that would go out and, like, you know, be a friggin' vile, disgusting, friggin' predator. Uh, you know. So, in any case, I think abortion should be okay for rape, but it gets into a different question of health because that almost borders on unnatural selection and eugenics. Because how many things are going to be considered unhealthy before we start automatically suggesting, even in a society that had universal health care with prenatal care, where you could say early on, oh, this child is not good because you shouldn't have the child because there's a genetic problem and stuff. Now, I've noticed that there's some diseases, like I believe retardation, where you can't tell a child is developing retardation until they formulate in a postnatal development. Like, I believe, I'm not sure about this because I haven't looked at research, but I believe that retardation doesn't develop in the fetus, but develops later on, or is discovered later on as a child goes through its infant and formative years, like from 2 years old on. I don't know if there's a way to detect for early detection of retardation or something like that. But it would be interesting to find out. Maybe I should look into that a little bit. But anyway, I definitely don't believe in post, uh, euthanasia for frigging, postnatal abortion, of course, And that brings up the term of late term abortion. Because I believe that late term abortion is wrong because if that child would be, if it was an early term birth, could be viable for life, which I believe is around 20 weeks. That they could put them in incubators or just have them early and if they're healthy with a little bit of care and hospital stay, that they can be grow up to be normal people. If they're viable, and there is a percentage in that early on where the child may or may not live. I think it's SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome and stuff like that. If the child is viable, then the abortion is immoral. And, in these late term abortions, and now this I kind of really believe, but it's just like something I believe, but, well, basically, you gotta friggin' crush the head and, basically in vitro euthanize a child. Does it matter if it really drew its first breath or not? If it's wiggling its fingers and toes and freaking kicking and everything else? And it's obviously a pretty healthy child? There's life there. I mean, if it can freaking come out and breathe, if it's out of the womb and it's kicking and screaming and the doctor kills it, it's murder. If it's in the womb, it's an abortion. I mean, what the hell, I mean, someone please explain that one to me. So that's why I'm against late-term abortion. Now, if you want to say if the child is not needed or if it's in a poverty situation, then we have to look at what causes poverty. And my failing on that is immigration, because I believe that with jobs going away and with people immigrating into low-paying positions, that you create numbers where you cannot create a living wage and also cannot create universal health care. But then again, you could argue economics about that, about war, about friggin' allocation of resources, and how you're going to handle reducing the population while an older population gets older, and Social Security and yada 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 yada, but you just can't keep building up frigging population to support a growing older population, because there are ecological problems and natural resources and stuff, and then this all gets freaking wound up way into freaking things about freaking quality of life and our prison systems and the death penalty and everything, and what we should do about these conflicting resources that we have, and the ideas that certain people care so much about children, but then don't give a damn about them between educational years and the frigging formative years off into the frigging geriatric years, where if you look at the frigging healthcare for seniors and stuff, it's just atrocious. We would not submit for these standards for children in foster care, but for old folks, it's perfectly fine. So, and then there it all is in a handshell, or in a nutshell, of what kind of world you want, and then that's just borderline socialism. So that's just a completely problem right there in itself, because you want a free and equitable society with the limited government, of course. Well, maybe not, of course, depending on your point of view, but and there you are. So, abortion, yes. Just definitely not late-term abortion. Definitely not a viable fetus, a baby, and generally enough health care that you wouldn't need abortions in the first place if you could possibly help it. Right? No? What? Okay. Abortion.